The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. We got the man Merks in Melbourne, man. How you doing?
All right, what's going on?
Chilling, man. Thank you very much for taking the time to make it happen, dude. It's taken us a bit of back and forth through all the COVID shit, but we finally got there.
Yeah, it's all good.
Now, look, for me personally, I came across your stuff maybe a couple of years ago, so I've been a bit late to the party. Been from Adelaide. You know, we don't catch everything that's come out from interstate.
Yeah.
But I've gone back through the catalogue, you know, done a bit of research, and yeah, there's a lot there, man. You've made a pretty solid contribution. And only recently, I mean, we'll cover the whole thing from front to back, you know, from when you first started music and even before that.
Yeah.
But just before we get into the whole thing, you recently just got out of lockup.
Yeah, I got out in April. I got locked up when I was 23. I've done 10 months, then 2 months, then 4 months. I just got out from the 4 months, yeah.
Well, it's good to have you out. We hope
Yeah.
to see you just stay out.
Yeah, that's the plan.
And look, like I said, before we get into all the history and all the story, in regards to you just getting out, can you talk about what it is that happened that landed you in that situation?
Yeah, like, people lagged me, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah, okay. And because I noticed that in the Shiv talk on Body Bag Media, there was a few references to that.
Yeah, that was a reference towards the 10 months I've done. The bloke that lagged me for the first time, yeah, went to jail.
Now, can you talk about what it is that he lagged on you for and what your relationship was with this person prior to that happening and how all that happened?
Yeah, I had a fiance and she had an affair and I found out about it. I made him pay me and then it's extortion. Yeah, because I've made him give me money for fucking my ex, so.
Wow. And then so when he's gone to the cops, I guess what's happened from there? They've just rocked around to yours and locked you up straight away.
No, I was on the run for a bit. I had $5,000 left. I wanted to spend that and then I had $60 left and turned myself in.
Yeah, wow. How long were you on the run for before you turned yourself in?
Not long, about a month.
And then so what is it that made you go on the run? Like, did you know that he'd gone and spoken to the police?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay. And they gave you how long for that?
I got 10 months all up. I got 10 months and I got released on a CCO.
But that's not the first time that you've been there.
Yeah, that was the first time, yeah.
Oh, that was the first time.
Yeah. The other 2 times were just petty whack shit, just booing.
Yeah, okay. Well, like I said, we're glad that you're out.
Yeah.
We hope that you stay out.
Yeah, same.
And I guess in relation to your experience in there, how was it, you know, spending the 10 months in there?
Well, my first time was the best time, yeah, because it was a new experience to me, you know? But second and third time were just fucking same old shit.
Yeah. Did you have any issues while you were in there or it was all good?
Nah. I had a punch on over a movie, that's about it.
Over a movie?
Yeah, over Con.
How does that happen?
I was in a cell with a bloke who thought that the bullets were going to hit him, that they were shooting in the movie. And I said to him, press the buzzer, and then he didn't like that, so he hit me, then, yeah. We just had a blue in the cell.
He thought the bullets in the movie were going to actually hit him.
Yeah, like a mental case.
Yeah, right.
It's good fun.
And then so he ended up swinging on you and then you punched on.
Yeah. That's it. That's the only issue I've had.
Well, let's, you know, it's your first time here, so let's get stuck into it straight from the beginning. Now, so you're originally from the Gold Coast, but you moved to Melbourne when you were younger?
No, I'm from Melbourne.
Okay, so you're born and raised in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And is it Melton?
Yeah, Melton, yeah. I lived in Broady, when I was born I lived in Broadmeadows for 12 years, and then went to Melton for the rest of it from 12 on.
So is Broadways and Melton in the same side of town?
Now, Broadmeadows is the northwest and Melton's west.
Okay. So when you were, how long were you in Broadmeadows before you went to Melton?
12. I moved to Melton when I was 12.
Okay, cool. And then I guess for someone who's from Adelaide who's not really too familiar with the suburbs and areas in Melbourne, what was it like, you know, in Melton, in Broadmeadows? Is that like an affluent area? Is it a rough area? Is it middle class?
Yeah, they're rough areas. Like, Broady's got a name and Melton's got a name.
Okay.
It's like sort of ghetto-ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah, word. And then, you know, obviously through listening through to the music and going through the catalog, the element of the street life carries all the way through the music.
Yeah.
At what age, you know, do you recall sort of starting to dabble in
12.
the street shit? And okay, and then so what is it that happened, or how did that sort of first start to come about?
I joined a gang.
What made you want to join a gang?
Just because be a part of something, you know? You got family sort of thing.
Yeah, when you're 12 joining a gang, I mean, can you recall, you know, first of all, I guess, who can you talk about who the gang was? And
Yeah, it's BRH.
okay, and like with a crew like that, is there like a jump in thing, like you see?
Yeah, there was, yeah.
Okay, and you got jumped in?
Yeah, some of us have, some of us haven't. Some people just get their hands shaken. Other people get jumped in. I haven't heard of anyone getting jumped in years, but back then we were right into it, you know? We were.
So for, you know, someone who doesn't necessarily know what getting jumped into a gang is, can you explain what that experience was like for you personally?
For me personally, I was 12 and I got the shit kicked out of me. I fucking screamed for my mum, apparently. I can't remember it, but apparently I fucking screamed for my mum. So,
Yeah, wow. And so how many dudes are jumping you in?
3.
And so being 12, I'm going to assume these dudes are much bigger, much older. You were
Yeah,
obviously...
I can't even remember it, to be honest. I thought I can't even remember it happening, but my mate told me the other day he remembers it. He was telling me about it, how I screamed for my mum.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And then obviously once that's out the way, you're in and off you go.
Yeah.
Now, so you're, you know, at 12 years old, you've joined this gang, you've been jumped in. In terms of the street stuff, you know, what were you sort of dabbling with at that particular age?
At that age, we were just running around, just you know, get into a group, running around the street, just mischief, you know, just little kid shit.
Yeah, petty thieving and a few fights and shit like that.
Yeah, just like fights, just looking for dramas and that.
Now, at which point or which age did things start to become a little bit more serious, and what is it that happened that made things, you know, become a bit more serious?
When I was 17, my mum got real sick. She had emphysema for years, but then all of a sudden just smacked her out, you know, when I was 17. And then I just started smoking ice and doing all sorts of shit.
And you feel that that was because... So your mother passed away at 17?
No, she passed when I was 21, but she got really sick at 17. Like, at 17, I knew she was going to die soon, you know? So then I just started... Yeah.
Wow. And when you talk about, you know, getting on the ice, I mean, these days that stuff is even more common than what it would have been back then. Your experience from being on that shit, I mean, what was your experience like being on that substance, and how difficult has it been to get off that shit?
Like, taking the drugs not the issue, it's the lifestyle, you know? Well, for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
So explain what you mean by that.
I've got no issue with, like, wanting to take it, or... craving it or anything like that. It's just a lifestyle. Like, I like the money, I like everything that comes with it, you know, with moving it, all that shit. So then that just took over my brain because I was 17, you know. I thought, you know, it just makes a better song. Every pack I sells, you know, another song to write.
So when you were 17 and you're dabbling in that, you weren't just using it, you started selling it at that age as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so so that sort of just came in hand.
Yeah, I always sold like buds and pills and shit when I was a teen. And then when I got to 17, I got onto the ice and then, yeah, started moving that.
Yeah, okay. Well, so how old were you, do you think, when you first started selling like pills and weed and shit like that?
14.
And you were doing that pretty consistently up until about 17 when you started dabbling in the ice?
Yeah, like when I was 16, I think I had a job for like 6 months and then went back to dealing, yeah.
At doing that at like 15, 16, you know, being obviously very young, running around in that game, did you experience, you know, people trying to take shit from you, obviously because you're smaller or younger and shit like that?
Not trying to take shit from me, but there's been dramas, you know, when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like Melton's like it's a big town, but it's all tight knit, you know what I mean? Like everyone, if you're in the scene, everyone knows everyone. So if you come get me, but I'm doing something for him, you haven't got to worry about me, you got to worry about him, you know what I mean? And it was sort of, that's the way it worked. Like my mates would be the ones doing that to people, in a way. So it never really happened to me.
So at 14, 15, you started, you know, moving weed, moving some pills. At 17, then you started, you know, I guess dabbling in the ice. Now, completely different substances. How much different is, you know, the environment and the game when you go from selling pills and weed to start selling ice? I imagine it's much high risk, more at stake, etc.
Yeah, it's more like if you're dealing with coke and pills and weed, it's just like stoners and people that party on the weekend, you know. But with ice, it's every single day. It's what they need every day, you know. So it's good for the money, but like people that take ice will steal your wallet and help you look for it, you know.
Yeah, wow.
The people are just cooked, you know. Like there's always a problem with people with ice, you know.
What's some of the worst things that you've seen from people being on the ice?
People die. Seen cunts get stabbed and die. I've seen one cunt get shot. But I've seen a few cunts get stabbed, but one cunt died. People get their missus stabbed because they owe money. Cars taken, bashed, tied up. Their missus is bashed because they won't tell them where something is. You know, I've seen people's parents get bashed because their son won't tell them where the money is, you know. It's all sorts of fucked up.
When you talk about, you know, seeing someone get stabbed and die, can you tell us a little bit about that, like exactly what you remember in that particular circumstance?
I went to do a house party. This kid was 14. It was his 14th birthday party. I was about 20. And he wanted me to go there and perform at his party. Like his stepdad organised it for me and that, like for him. I rolled up there and then the house was packed. It was a big party and then it all spilled out the front for a fight. And some bloke ran over to punch on with someone and the bloke pulled a knife and stuck it in him. Got him in his heart and then I went out the front to watch the fight and he was getting dragged inside by my sister and then my sister tried to revive him in that, but yeah, he was brown bread.
Shit. And did you know the dude?
Oh, I just met him that night. He was the kid's birthday. Who it was? It was his godfather.
Yeah, right. And then do you know that did they end up catching the dude that stabbed him?
Yeah.
Shit, so he'd be looking at 25 years.
I don't know about 25 now, but I know he's doing a whack, yeah. But Australia, it's not as... I don't think I've ever met anyone who's doing 25. I know people that are doing 20 and that, you know, but I'm pretty sure he'd be out soon, probably.
And then you also mentioned, you know, through being involved in this shit with the ice, seeing someone get shot. Now, for someone like myself personally, I never even seen a gun. Again, with that particular instance, can you recall what the situation was around that?
It was just like a drive-by thing. And I was there. Like, I didn't see, you know, bang, bang, but like, guns were pointed, the guns went off and old mate's got a bullet in him, you know? So it's clearly he got shot.
So somebody did get hit, but they didn't die?
Nah, yeah, no one died, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But this is all related over some drug shit.
Yeah, it's all just, yeah, down to drugs. Even with the stabbing wasn't over drugs, but they were on drugs, you know?
Yeah. And then when this person, you know, has been hit, were you standing like anywhere near him?
Just down the street, in a car.
Yeah, okay, so you weren't actually right there.
No, I was like just, like I was looking like this, you know? The house was behind me like that.
Now, how common is all these sorts of things? Like, how common occurrence was this sort of shit going on as you were growing up?
Once I got into the scene, it was flat chat, you know? Like, it's not the town, it's who you hang out with, you know? It's what you do. If you go to a town and you go to work every day, you come home, you know, be a dad or whatever you do, you know what, no one's going to run for your house. If you're out there selling drugs and you're gangstering on, there's a chance that someone's going to gangster on to you, you know?
Now, so if at 17, you know, you've leveled up and now you're doing this, and these sorts of situations obviously come with being in that lifestyle, like how long were you doing that for before the music thing sort of started, or were you already doing the music thing while this was going on?
Yeah, I started music when I was 7. I wrote my first song when I was 7. Yeah. I've just always loved it. Like, I just used to thrash out the Eminem show. I used to have just that one CD and used to thrash it on repeat, and then remixed every song on the track, and then I just knew how to rap. Yeah. But I recorded, I think the first time I recorded was when I was 14, and then I sort of popped off when I wrote When Clouds Move and Sydney to Melbourne with NTER. Because my brother Jake Mann put me onto him, and then yeah, all his fans obviously seen me and got me into the spotlight a little bit, and then ever since then I've had fans waiting for tracks, you know.
Okay, so just to backtrack a little bit, so you were doing the rap thing for a few years, like in terms of recording and releasing, before you'd met NTER?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then, in a bit of detail, can you talk about how you guys connected?
Yeah.
You know, what it is that brought you guys together and all that?
Yeah, Jake Mann, probably. Just put it on him. NTER, I think it was Curse's tour, and Curse came to Melton, done a show there. And the same night I was doing a show down the street, so I didn't go, but the boys went, and my brother Jake was obsessed with NTER, you know? And NTER wasn't, he was well known, but like not like he is now, you know? And he told me he was tripping out because Jake knew every single word to every single track. So he pulled him up on stage anyway, that's how they met. And I said to Jake, bro, you need to fucking put me onto him, you know? So for like, I think about 2 years after that, we were sending him tracks, but I don't know what happened, if he didn't hear it or if he just didn't feel it. But then he came down for Jake's birthday, and I got him on the balcony by myself, and I showed him, I think it was a song called Sound of the Slums. And then he's like, to Jake, why haven't you told me about this bloke? And he's like, I've told you 100 times. And then I went to Sydney, he took me to Mason Studios, and the rest is history.
You guys are in the group Trap Runnerz.
Yeah.
So is that when the Trap Runnerz thing started to kick off?
Nah. Oh yeah, roughly around that time, yeah. Me and Jake were living in Melton South, and there was like a bit of stock, pretty much, you know, in the trap. And there was a lot of shit going on, and it was like, you know, start a group, and then me, him and Jake made up Trap Runnerz.
And then but while the Trap Runnerz thing is going on, you're still living in Melbourne while the rest of the crew members are in Sydney.
Yeah, the rest of the crew members that rap are in Sydney. Like Jake's, Stewie, Adzi, they're all Trap Runners. Like Sean, they're all Trap Runners, but they don't rap. You know? So
as far as on record, who are the official members of Trap Runnerz?
Rappers?
Yeah.
Me, NTER, Luxury, Sesk. That's pretty much it, the rappers, yeah. Gravy Baby.
So Gravy Baby's in Trap Runnerz as well?
Oh yeah, like it's not like you get a fucking, all right, now you're in Trap Runnerz today, you know? But it's like, they're you know, their best mates, like him and NTER are best mates, you know?
Yeah. But then beyond the rap, you're saying Trap Runnerz is actually like a bigger street crew?
Yeah, sort of. Like, it started off as music, but now, like, you know, everyone's repping it, all the boys are repping it. And like, it's about trap music, you know? And like, there's boys that do it, and there's boys that do music, and there's boys that do it and do music.
One of the things that, you know, really caught my attention and made me think was when you're listening to the music and, you know, you're watching the videos, for me personally, it was pretty easy to tell that everything is authentic.
Yeah.
You know, I imagine that there's a lot of people or some people that do the street rap stuff, but don't necessarily live the shit that they're rapping about. With you guys, it was very clear to me very quick that this is authentic. Now, one of the other thoughts that came with that for me was the whole self-incrimination thing, in terms of at any point in time, did it ever cross your minds, or have you ever had the situations where, because you're putting certain things in your songs, that it's drawing heat from the police?
The most I've seen happen is NTER has some dramas because of we had a gun in the film clip, and I heard that I wasn't there. I just heard that something happened over that. Not nothing too big, you know. I'm pretty sure the cops just come sussed him out about it, if he had guns and that, you know, because of the film clip.
But nothing eventuated from that.
Nah. Well, not that I've heard of. No, like, he didn't go to jail or nothing. So.
And so when you guys are writing and releasing your stuff, are you know, thinking about maybe I shouldn't say this or maybe I shouldn't say that, or it doesn't really cross your mind? You just write what you write and that's it?
It depends, really. Like, I'm writing a song now. I can't say too much because they'll lag me, you know. But if I know 100% they're not going to lag me, then I can say whatever the fuck I want, and they're just going to cop it and go on with it, you know. If they're going to lag, then I can't. Or if I think they might lag, I'll just, you know, be careful what you say. Don't, you know. Well, like, you can make a reference to something like that, so that person will know you're talking about them. But if the jacks say, you said this, like listen, I said maybe before I said all that. Like, maybe your mate got shot last night at the front of your house. If your mate got shot last night at the front of your house, you know I'm talking about you. You know what I mean? But the Jacks asked me, I said maybe. It's just a coincidence. You get me?
Yeah, 100%. Now, I guess for yourself personally, you know, the Australian rap scene at the moment now is so much different to what it was, you know, when, say, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When you first started, say, recording and releasing, like around that 2012 period, I think, things have shifted a lot. Now, the street rap stuff is more common now than it was back then. Yeah. How do you personally feel about, I guess, the evolution of the street rap side of things in Australia, and what influence or role do you think you guys have played in that?
I reckon we kill it. I reckon we run that shit, 100%. Well, we've been saying it for years. Like, people used to pick on us for making gutter rap. You know what I mean? Now the whole country's doing it. Like NTER, Gravy, Sesk, they're like the pioneers, you know what I mean? Curse, all them, like they started the shit, you know? And then we've just like obviously met them, joined up and made it better, but now every Tom, Dick and Harry's a gangster and snaps me. But the role we play, I reckon half the rappers in Australia, guaranteed, if they're doing gutter rap, they're inspired by us.
Yeah, no doubt. And I guess when you talk about how at the beginning people were making fun of you for making gutter rap, can you recall like what exactly was happening?
Just because no one, like if it was Aussie hip hop, it was like Bliss and Esso or, you know, Hilltop Hoods or something like that, rapping about barbecues and meat pies and shit, you know. But then, like, you never heard about what was going on in the houses in Australia, you know? It was all, gangster rap was just all America, you know? So, once it popped off over here, we jumped straight on it, but, you know, a lot of people thought, you know, we're just little wannabes or whatever. Like, to a certain extent, until they, like, you know, 10 years later, now they're rappers doing gutter rap. It makes no sense, but yeah.
And I guess when, like, you know, when you mention names like Bliss and Esso and the Hilltop Hoods, that's really like, I mean, they're still around and relevant now, but they were really sort of putting Australian rap on the map in that 2000 to 2009 period. And then I kind of feel like it was around that time that, you know, gutter rap and street rap started to get some attention, particularly because YouTube started to pop off around that time.
Yeah.
Now, from the research I've done, you know, I've never been to Sydney, but it appears that, you know, NTER, Sky High, and Skis, like they were, I guess, like the pioneers.
Yeah.
Of that particular genre.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's a safe assumption?
Yeah.
Because street rap wasn't really around before NTER in Australia, were you not really listening to Aussie hip hop because you couldn't really relate to it, or you were still kind of in tune with it a bit?
No, I wasn't interested in it at all. Like I used to rap, like I used to make gutter rap, but like I never listened to it. No, even sort of still today, I don't really listen to Aussies. Like no Australian rap, I just listen to American. Or like UK or something, just, I don't know.
In terms of Australian rappers, who are some of the ones that do stand out for you and why?
Well, NTER obviously, because what he's done for me, we're good mates, you know. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be doing an interview right now, you know. Obviously the boys like the Trap Runnerz, you know, all the boys. 1-4 stands out to me. Because I've met them, I know they're alright, you know. Like they're straight sick cunts, you know. I know they're not fake. What they talk about is what they do, you know. They stand out a bit. HP, of course, because they're from Melbourne. Anyone that's doing what they rap about stands out to me.
Now, you mentioned meeting 1-4. How did you guys meet? What was...
They rocked up to a show in Sydney, yeah. And I just met a few of the boys there, yeah. That's it. I met him at a couple of shows, but that was the first time I met him, yeah.
1-4 is, you know, one of maybe debatably the biggest name in Australian rap at the moment. What do you think is the reason why they've had the levels of success that they've had?
Because they just fucking walked in the door and smashed the shit out of the park, you know what I mean? Like, no one was talking about Jill. Then 1-4 come along, now the whole country's bopping to it, you know? They just smashed it, and then they were doing what they're talking about, which is, you know? And they've brought it like a small town, like where they're from. They've put that on the map, you know? Like when I made Straight Outta Melton's not that much of a good song. There's no film clip or nothing, but it's got more views than it should have because I've just mentioned a town in it. So everyone from that town, you know? That's what, like, they've just put Mountie on the map. So they just popped right off, you know?
Now, you mentioned, you know, how one of the things that 1-4 did was put, you know, their area, Mount Druitt, on the map. And you also mentioned that you had a song Straight Outta Melton. Now, I think that was like around 2015.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It was the day after my mum died.
What made you want to put that particular song out at that point in time?
Just what I was doing. It was the life I was living. It was what was happening in my area. I'm pretty sure, not sure if it was the night before or a week before, but a robbery happened a night or a week before. And I just started writing about that, and then it turned into Straight Outta Melton.
Now, you also just mentioned that you did that song just after your mum passed away.
The day after, yeah. I recorded it the day after she died.
Yeah, right. And you also mentioned that when you first got word that your mum was terminally ill, you know, that's when shit started to, you know, you started to really go left, so to speak.
Yeah.
How much of an effect, if you hearing that she was terminally ill had that much of an impact on you at that point in time, how much of an impact did it have on you when she passed away?
Fuck me. Like, I just, I didn't give a fuck about nothing. Like, I wanted to, like, I wouldn't say I didn't want to hurt myself, but I was happy to go and shoot at the cops until one of them shoot me, you know? Like, that was the mad way out for me. I just didn't give a fuck. If someone shot me and they killed me, then grouse because I'm dead. If not, then I just got them. That was my mindset, you know?
And how long do you think that you were stuck in that mindset?
Till pretty much a year. Not really a year, actually, about half a year. Because like my mum died, and I think like the next day I found out I was having my first daughter. So I lost someone and got someone, you know.
So, just to clarify, the day after your mother passed away is the day that you realised that you were having a daughter?
I don't know if it was the exact day, but I know that within that week, yeah. Within a week after she died, I found out I was having my first baby, yeah.
This year you had a song released, Just Hatin', and that's with Flowz.
Yeah, in Luxury, yeah.
So when did you guys record that?
I recorded my verse in 2019. No, sorry, I recorded my verse when I was 21, so that was 6 years ago.
You recorded your verse for Just Hatin' 6 years ago.
Yeah, because I was living with my ex, and that was when I used to travel to Sydney to record all the time, so 21. Because it was written to a different beat. And then a couple of years later, Lux is like, Flowz is going to jump on it. I said, yeah, sweet. And then when I was in jail, he's like, I changed the beat. And then I was in jail one day, and my mate's like, is this you on Triple J? And I was like, you taped it and you played it back. I said, oh, fuck yeah.
When did you first catch on to Flowz, and what is it about his music that caught your attention?
Just because he's from Melbourne. You know what I mean? And he's doing the same shit I was doing, or I'm doing, you know? And like, because we're from the same areas, well, not areas, but same city, you know, you hear things, you know?
Now, backtracking just a little bit to 2018, so when you've been released, not long after, did you go to Greeley's THC TV reunion battle?
Yeah.
Okay, so what made you, because I didn't know that you guys had a rapport, so how do you know Greeley and what made you attend that battle?
I only know Greeley through music, like just social media and shit. I met him that night, I'm pretty sure, first time we met face to face. H. Murray is a battler, one of my close mates, so I went there to support him.
Ah, okay. And how did he do on the night?
I can't even remember really, I just know they were trying to blue everyone. We were just having a mad night.
Now, the battle rap thing is like completely, you know, like there's a whole thing just for battle rap within hip hop these days. You know, back in the day, it's on microphones, it's off the top of the head, it's over a beat. The new school format is, you know, a cappella, pre-written stuff.
Yeah.
For you personally, are you a fan of battle rap, and is battle rap something that you've ever thought about doing or would consider doing?
Yeah, I've thought about it. When I've been watching H do his thing, you know, like getting ready for battles and stuff, I thought I'd be able to go, have a good go at it. But I've just never gotten around to it, you know. Because it's like, you're just bagging each other out, you know, and I don't know how I'm going to go listening to someone talk about my dead mum or my daughters or my missus or something like that, you know. I'm not going to be able to stand there. So I'll just leave the battles to the boys.
So basically, is that the main thing that deters you from stepping into that environment?
Yeah, it's just dramas. It's going to be dramas. Like, it's their job to, you got to pretty much pick on someone, bag them out, you know? And yeah, you know, if someone's going to win, then it's not going to be good.
Fast forward the clock, maybe a year and a half or 2 years to 2020. And this is a bit of a out of left field one, excuse the pun, but you were like scattered through a few newspapers as Dustin Martin lookalike.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very random,
Yeah,
but tell us a little bit about what that was all about.
It was my ex's daughter's birthday, and I had a barbecue in the backyard. It was a hot day, so I just had me Richmond. I go for Richmond, so I just had me Richmond jumper on, and I just got out of jail, I think a week earlier, so I had me boob shorts on, so it looked like I'm about to play footy. And then my neighbour burnt his house down, and then the newspaper came because he had some meth lab thing going on next door. So the news came, and then I was trying to get him when he was getting taken out. So then the newspaper took a photo of me, and then because I had the same haircut as Dusty, they're like, you're a Dusty lookalike.
And then so what? This was a newspaper that's taken the photo, and then just what they've put that in the paper, and then that's
and then,
gone in other papers.
You know, they put it in papers, and then people started commenting like and shit like that's Merks. That guy's a rapper, this that, and then the newspaper contacted me and said, like, tell us about yourself, you know. And then I got a little fucking a page in the newspaper. Like I'd done the
Which
interview over
paper?
the phone. The Geelong Advertiser, because I lived in Geelong at the time.
So you're telling me that because you just happened to be wearing the Richmond jersey and had his haircut,
Yeah.
and there's been an explosion next door.
And the tattoos and shit, yeah.
So they've come to report on the explosion, but then seen you and thought,
Yeah.
oh, this dude looks like Dusty, so we'll snap some pictures.
Yeah.
And then off the back of that, they found out that you are a rapper, so they've come back to you and then given you your own article to promote your music and shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking classic press, man. Well done.
Worked out well for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You'd have to be one of the few dudes that is in the paper getting their own press done. Now, the following year, which is, you know, this year, 2021, we talked about you dropped the joint with Flowz. And the other thing that you dropped was Shiv Talk on Body Bag Media. First of all, out of those two, which one dropped first? Was it the Shiv Talk or was it the joint with Flowz?
Flowz. One with Flowz dropped first.
Okay, now the verse on that, you had for 6 years. But with the Body Bag Media stuff, that's something that you've just freshly written.
I wrote that in jail, first time I was in jail, so 2017 to 2018, I wrote Shift Talk.
Yeah, okay. And then at that point when you wrote it, did you know straight away that Body Bag is where you wanted to take it, or you just sort of had it?
No. Last time I got out of jail, plans didn't go to plan, and then I ended up going straight to Sydney instead of staying in Melbourne. Well, me and my ex split up and I went straight to Sydney and went and lived with NTER. And because I was in Sydney, I thought, fuck, you know, all the boys are up here, so I hit up Body Bags. And yeah, he come straight down and we started working. So I know he's a good filmer, you know, like, so I went straight to him. While I'm in Sydney, might as well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So you reached out to Body Bag Media.
Yeah.
Well, it's done well, man, because when did you put that out? That's...
I don't know, it's done shit, really, I reckon. Because there's a big gap, all the jail, like there's jail gaps, so there's like, I'm not relevant sort of thing at the moment, you know? To a fan, you get me?
Okay, so what you're saying is that because you've spent time away, you feel that people have forgotten about your bit and it hasn't tracked as well as you hoped?
Yeah, like I don't drop enough music. Like 2 tracks a year is not, you know, you're not going to smash it out the park on 2 tracks a year.
And is that something, you know, like moving forward, have you got plans to get, you know, busy back in the studio and on the stage, etc.?
Yeah, well now I just found the studio down in Melbourne, so it's a good studio, you know, so now it's fantastic. I've done 2 tracks last week. I was supposed to go last night or the night before, do another track, but I cancelled it. So this week, I think Tuesday, I've got to go back to the studio, yeah. I'm going to smash it out, I just want to do clips. And then there's going to be more music, yeah.
So the songs that you're doing at the moment, are they for a particular project like an album or an EP, or they're songs that you're just going to clip and put out as singles, or you don't know yet?
There's like, they're all sort of build-ups for one single, if that makes sense. Like I've got a few tracks, but they're just tracks, but then it's like you know, they're going to end and promote this one track, you get me, and then the last one I release will be Umose, and that's probably the best track I've ever written in my life, I reckon. Like skill-wise, not with meaning and that, but yeah.
And is live shows something that, you know, you've got in mind to do in the near future?
Yeah, I want to. It's my favourite thing in the world is to do shows, but I just, like I said before, I don't even know what a bar is. I just know how to write the rap and pick a beat and record it. I don't know how to organise a show. I just get called and say, hey, we got a show, you know, or do you want to jump on stage at this joint? I say yes. I don't know how the fuck to organise anything.
Well, look, we look forward to the new music coming out. It looks like, you've kept pretty busy with the street shit as well as with the music stuff.
Yeah.
I guess before we get out of here, there's a lot of conversation. We were talking about drill music. And because it's like the new current thing in Australia within rap, there's a lot of conversation about the impact that drill music does or doesn't have. People are saying, is drill music promoting violence and it's the reason why kids are out here stabbing each other, or are the artists just putting their truths on paper and they're not responsible for the way that people digest it? In terms of just street rap in general, whether people want to call it drill, gutter rap, street rap, whatever, do you personally feel that the music has an impact on the youth? If so, positive, negative, what's, your thoughts?
Probably positive and negative, but like, I can make a song today saying, go jump off the West Gate. If someone does that, that's their fault, you know what I mean? Just because I say it's mad to go do that, if they do that, that's their fucking issue, People are putting on paper what they live. So that's the positive side of it, The negative side is you've got some dickhead who's going to hear it and say, oh, I'm going to go stab someone because I heard Merks' song. But then there's the positive side is there's 100 people who aren't dickheads who are going through some shit, who maybe were about to kill themselves, didn't kill themselves because they heard the track, and they're going through the same shit,
Do you personally feel like you have any sort of social responsibility when you're putting music out? Or do you feel like artists in general, particularly big names, that they have or should have any social responsibility when putting this music out?
I reckon just be real. That's my one anyway, for me. Like, I liked NTER because he was doing what he was talking about doing. And that other rappers weren't, so that's what made me respect him more. And, feel his music more. So, like, I do the same thing. I don't know, I can't stand it. If you're going to write something, live it. If you don't live it, then don't write it. Write what you're doing, If you're cooking barbecues and changing nappies, then make a rap about cooking barbecues and changing nappies, and maybe some dads will pump your tunes, you know what I mean? But don't try and get, like, the houseos to pump your tunes when you're not living it, Talking about AK-47s and shit, and they've never even shot, It's not how it is.
When you've heard, throughout the years, when you've heard street rap come out of Australia, do you feel like there's a lot of stuff out there that is not authentic and people are just saying things that they're not actually living? Or do you feel like the majority of people that are doing it are living it and it is their truth?
No, I'd say majority aren't living it.
And so, I mean, look, for me personally, if you're not living it, to put that shit out there as if you are, it's just insane. I don't really understand why anybody would do that. But as someone who, who has lived that life, why do you think people do that? Why do you think people are putting on that front?
Because it's cool to them. Like, it's if you can rap and you can rap right, like, you've got attention, and they go off that attention. I want more attention, so I'm gonna say I've done this in a track. I've never done it in my life, but how's this girl gonna know that I've never done that before? when she asks me about it, I'll just make up a fake fucking story and tell her that, and then, you know, rappers start getting girls and start getting mates everywhere, and it goes to their head. That's what I reckon anyway.
Do you think, like, when people are talking and, you know, we're talking about, say, the negative influences that street rap can have on the younger generation, do you feel like it's really the people that are bullshitting that are the problem? Because the kids are actually taking it for real when they're actually just talking shit?
Yeah. Well, not like if you, I couldn't tell you what track to search, but like, I'm pretty sure like everything I've talked about bad in my tracks, there'd be somewhere along the lines like, this is fucked, you know? That message is getting sent through like, this is fucked. Not this is mad. But they don't get that, you know, that's because I live the life and I know it's fucked. Whereas these, you know, they don't do nothing they're speaking about, so in their head it's like, yeah, I stabbed 3 cunts last night and nothing's happened to me today because I'm a big bad gangster, but it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. So then kids hear that and they go, you know?
For you, when you are listening to some of this music and seeing the clips, what is it for you that makes it a dead giveaway that the shit's not authentic? Is it just in the way that they're carrying themselves in the music?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like that, or like some things they say, like, it's hard to explain, like, it's hard to explain, like there's a lingo, you know, it could be lingo they're using, or they could be talking about a AK-47 that they used last night, and you know for a fact that, you know, anyone who's in the scene knows what I'm talking about right now, you know? Like, they're not $200 from Kmart like America, you know? There's not drive-bys every night. You know, like, there's shit like that, like, people talking about AKs and they killed someone last night and then they made a rap about it today. That's all bullshit. You know, that didn't happen because it doesn't happen.
Do you think that it's dangerous for these dudes to be talking this shit when they're not living it? Because in my mind, I kind of feel like...
100% it is.
Yeah, because they're going to eventually get pulled up and tested on it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like, is that pretty much the mentality? Like, you know, dudes think that these certain individuals are talking shit, so when you see them out, not you personally, but just in general.
Yeah, put it on them. I mean, if I can't name names and that, but if I see, you know, if some, you know, I know for a fact if any of my mates or any of the boys ran into them, they'd have to fucking do what they're rapping about, or if not, they're going to be put on a show, you know?
Have you ever had a situation where people thought that your music was not genuine and have tried to test you for it?
I've had people ask, but just ask about certain songs, like, oh, what did you mean in this song, you know? What did you mean in that song when you spoke about this, or, you know? Just shit like that, really. Most people I've met, though, they don't meet me through music, they meet me through, like, you know, streets sort of thing. So they meet me while I'm doing something, you get me? And they're like, oh, wait, you're Merks the rapper, and they're like, oh, fuck. You know, I just bought this off Merks, or I just seen Merks do this, fucking the cunt is actually out here, you know?
I guess on the topic of street rap, you know, we briefly talked about 1-4 and the success that they're having and why they're having the success. Another artist that is on that same sort of tip, and that is quite prominent now in the last year or two, is Spanion. Are you familiar with Spanion's music?
No, not his music. I've just watched a few of his videos. I think we follow each other on Insta. That's about it.
Now, what do you think? I'm pretty like engaged in his social medias and stuff. Like I follow him a bit. His press manager just sent me his book, so I'm really looking forward to reading that one. What are your thoughts on Spanion, and why do you think he has had, I guess, you know, the big reach and success that he's currently having?
I don't know a lot about him, but from what I've heard, because he's real, you know. Like, I can't remember, I don't even know who the fuck it was, but someone I know that knows him. And they're like, yeah, he's about it, like, you know, he's not talking shit. So that would be another thing for him too, because he's one out, you know, he's not with the crew and that, or if he is, he doesn't, you know, put it out there that he is. He's just by himself on his ones, and he will do what he's talking about, you know, from what I've heard.
The lesson. 927. Oh yeah.